Right now we're in part 4 of the MiG 17 build, and as you can see, we don't have everything glued together. The wings are still separate from the fuselage. However, we have gone ahead and applied some black primer to all the areas that we sanded, just to make sure that we have all the detail covered and everything is nice and smooth. We've got a little bit of work to do here on the trailing edges of the wings and to the little plugs we put into those holes for the fuel tanks underneath. But other than that, the trailing edge and leading edges of the wings look fairly decent, will require minimal sanding. So those are good to go. The fuselage has been attached, or the main forward half of the fuselage has been attached to the tail section, so that's all glued in place. The engine's painted up and put inside. And there's a bit of fit issues going on with it. I'm not sure you can see, but the rear part of the rear half of the fuselage sits a little higher than the front half of the fuselage. This was lining up the bottom and the actual wing root in here. And as you can see, we've got a piece of 20 thousandths inch plastic card, as there was a bit of space in between the wing root and the actual fuselage. So that's been fixed, and that's going to get sanded and brought into profile as well. We plugged up the radio antenna here. The correct position is somewhat higher and up closer to the actual canopy itself. The exact spot I'm going to get kind of perfect before I go ahead and paint. Same thing done on the other side here to the other wing root. Little minor seam filling having to go on here. The bottom's flush, so that's not going to be too hard to kind of blend in, and then we can also rescribe afterwards. Tail and tail planes are all good to go. There's a couple of spots here at the top of the tail that we have to sort out with probably some Mr. Servicer 500 just to kind of fill in those small seams, but other than that, it looks very good. We went ahead and installed the nose armament, so the 223mm and 137mm cannon. And as you can see here, there was quite a significant gap and shape issue going on with the fairing for the 37mm cannon. So it's been blocked with some probably about 40 thousandths, maybe 5 thousandths worth of plastic in there, just the gap. So there's two 20 thou pieces of plastic in there just to space it out, and then the rest will get filled probably with some epoxy putty, because this is going to have a nice reshape done to it. But other than that, they fit fine, so everything else is good to go. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and pause. I'm going to go ahead and fix all of these issues, and then once that's done, we'll probably go ahead and show you all the fixes done before we head off to priming, and then bring you back before the parts are ready to be glued together. So once I fit all these fit issues, glue the wings together, and then have it all as one piece, prime it, and then review it before we go ahead and move on. So we'll see you guys when all those issues are sorted. Alright, well, after much sanding, we've got a nice transition here on the two fuselage halves, top and bottom. No noticeable lip, but we have to do a panel line in there anyways, just to show that separation. So yeah, looks pretty good. A little bit of filling here, plenty of rescribing to do. All of our plugs nice and smooth, and our 37mm cannon here is getting a nice rework. There's quite a few gaps in there that we'll probably fill, and sand up, but no, this trick worked well, and then a heavy grit just to kind of transition the two blast tube fairings worked out a real treat. Yeah, so everything else is good, and I think we'll just do that final bit of filling, and then we'll go ahead and glue the wings on to the fuselage. But as you can see down there, there's no noticeable gap. That's all looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and fill those, or fill all the needed gaps, sand it back, and then we'll come in and rescribe it, and then we'll go ahead and glue everything together. So when you come back, all of our parts are going to be glued in together, and we're going to have a model that we can start priming and painting. So be right back. Alright, so now that's finally fixed, we're going to take our wings here, and we're going to finally attach them. Just getting our glue out. There's very minimal gap that we'll need to fill here, so we are in good order. So I'm just going to hold this here for a minute, make sure it glues up straight, and then put the other one on. Alright, now that one's secured in place, I'm going to go ahead and take the right wing and do the same. Nice healthy dose in here, so that way you get as much of the plastic bonding as possible. You get a nice and strong joint. Doesn't decide to break, honestly. Eyeballing the anhedral of the wing, because unlike most jet fighters, the MiG 15 through 17 all had this anhedral type, so it actually would droop. You know, if you're looking at the aircraft like that, the wing actually droops down rather than up, so it's an anhedral instead of dihedral. So real nice. So as you could probably see down in here, I've got a little bit of a gap, but that was just from sanding the actual ring roots to make sure that there was that anhedral there, because the kit didn't provide it. So we'll probably fill that with some plastic hard and get that all nice and filled, sanded, and then a nice join line going on there. But for what it's worth right now, we're pretty much ready to go and paint. So thanks again for watching, guys. The next video, we're going to have this thing primed up. We're going to send it off to paint, and then we're going to bring it back and start putting down some of the paint defects. We're going to get those out of the way and get that all sorted out for our markings and whatnot. So just go ahead and subscribe, like the video if you do, and stay tuned for part 5 to come along very shortly. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.